And hello, Worldwide Wolves podcast. We're here to talk about, well, I'll give you a couple options. Either we can talk about the basketball game, or we could rank jerseys or something, more off-season content. What do we think? No, we're here to talk about a basketball game, Worldwide Wolves. I'm Cooper Carlson. I used to host, well, this channel. Used to be Timberwolves Daily. That's Jake Painting, hosts the Howls and Growls YouTube channel. And yeah, we got a basketball game to talk about. It's going to be fun. Jake, how we doing? And how's Australia, my friend?
Yes, it is good. Well, I went and watched the Pelicans play Melbourne United the other night, so that was good. Bit of NBA action down here. So, yeah, everything going well for me. I'm happy that we got to see some Timberwolves basketball, even if it was very preseason-y. But yeah, we're back.
Yeah, we got a few things we're going to talk about. Jake's got a few points for us, but I think, I don't know, the key one, maybe the main one, if you think differently, you can correct me, but the point guard position, Bones Hyland is probably an excellent place to start, right?
Yeah, well,
it's going to be the talker, man. It's going to be the talker.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my main rule here is that I don't like to overreact, good or bad, to preseason. But it is hard not to when you watch the preseason. We've obviously been starved of basketball for 3-4 months, So when you get to see Bones Hyland kind of go off against his old team, it is definitely a talker.
Let me throw this at you. So Bones tonight was very good. He scored 18 points, 3 of 4 from 3, 5 of 6 total, and it's kind of a fun story in a way, but at the same time, throughout Bones's career, it's been kind of a meme or whatever that like Tim Connolly is obsessed with him. But also on the same hand here, Tim Connolly is someone that we look at and go, that's a genius basketball mind that has built up this great Timberwolves roster. So preseason overreaction. Are we just like continuously underrating Bones? I'll say that. Okay, just preseason overreaction. Game 1, who gets the backup point guard role, Bones or Rob?
Think it's still Dante. Rob? Dante.
Yeah, okay, fine. Great point.
Yeah, I mean, I've just thought the whole time, like, I just don't think Finch trusts Rob. I don't think Tim Connolly is going to allow Finch to completely just cut Rob out of the rotation either. So I think it's, I mean, like I said, I'm trying not to swing too far. I think Rob was kind of what he has been so far, where I thought his passing was pretty good. I thought he was a little loose with the ball. I think he was indecisive as a scorer and kind of ineffective as a scorer, which is, I think, the main
problem.
Yeah, I think the main problem is he doesn't really know when to shoot, what shot to shoot, where his spots are on the floor. I think when you see him get aggressive and get assertive, he seems like a better player. But there's moments are too few and far between. And then I think you look at someone like Bones, and that's a guy who is certainly not afraid to get into his spots and to shoot shots and to make shots. And I mean, what we know with Bones as well is that he's just as likely to go 0 of 6 and have 4 turnovers in the next game as well. That's why he's on a minimum and really has barely been on a roster for the last 2 seasons. So it's a watch. I mean, Mike Conley, it feels like they're really pumping the Mike Conley tires in preseason. Yeah. That seems to be a designated push from both PR, from the coaching staff, from the players, that they're not going to let the Mike Conley thing die just yet. So I'd like to, I want to see as the preseason goes on, there is a chance that maybe this is a bit of a preseason battle between Bones and Rob. But I think right now Bones kind of won the first battle, and we'll see who wins the war at the end of the preseason.
When it comes to just like, I don't know if eye test is the right word, but just like looking at the game, watching the game, and seeing how comfortable each of them are running this thing, I think Bones is just, I mean, like you mentioned, he can go 0 for 6 in a game, but at the same time, he just looks more comfortable running this offense, which is a little strange considering he's had so much less time, even in practice and all that, than Rob. And I know Rob's young, he's in year 2, but I mean, like if he can't get going here, he's gonna go get DNPs consistently because Finch is not gonna have patience for it. I'm not saying Bones is gonna take over that role and play 20 minutes a night, but whatever Rob's role right now is, there's, I think, a legitimate shot that someone like Bones, who continuously finds his way on this roster, could take that spot. And I mean, yeah, everything we've seen, I think, from Finch and Rob is just that it might not play out the way Rob wants it to right away here. So I'm intrigued by it, man. I am. I gotta say, this Bones Hyland thing, it's preseason. I'm gonna overreact, like whatever. So
yeah, well, the thing is that the inherent kind of danger about young players, Rob in this case, is that if you want them to play minutes in the future, you have to let them play through their mistakes. So I think there's Rob doesn't have a divine right because he's in his second season to be, mistake free or a player, the perfect version of himself. So it's more about who you want to invest in the future, because I think you can probably, in the aggregate, maybe get a little bit more reliability with Bones right now. Certainly a player who knows himself better in an NBA sense, especially at, what is he, maybe 25, Bones?
Just turned 25 20 days ago.
Right, yeah. So I think that's kind of the thing that they have to make a decision on. Finch especially has to make a decision on, is that Rob's 20. If you think he has a higher upside, you obviously drafted him higher. You used the pick to move up. You do have to let him play through his mistakes. Like, if it was up to me, I think I would still let Rob play those backup point guard minutes until you decide that he doesn't have a spot on this roster in the future. And that could be right away. It could be now. It could be at the end of the season. Like, I don't know the answers to that. And I think I'm happy either way with this coaching staff and front office, their ability to make those decisions. But I do think you need to let the decision kind of flourish. You can't just, I think if you stash him on the bench and decide, well, he's not good enough, then you don't really get the full view of whether he was or not. So I do think that's probably still, I mean, they started Rob tonight. They could have started Bones if they thought that Bones was higher on the I think they think that Rob is higher on the pecking order, or they wouldn't have started him. After tonight, obviously, Bones edges higher, Rob edges lower, and, you go from there. But I do think that it's, like I said, it's going to be an intriguing story throughout preseason, because tonight definitely threw a little bit of the spanner in the works in terms of the status quo between what those two and what we thought of those two. So I'm happy to let that play out. Like, if Rob wants to be the backup point guard and now he's got a little bit more competition, like, that is something he's going to have to overcome, not just in preseason, but every night you have to overcome challenges to be a better player than certain other guys on the floor. So I think it's a good thing. Like, I don't think any player having more competition on the roster is ever a bad thing.
Yeah, and some of this from me just stems from like being kind of low on Rob all offseason anyway, and just seeing Bones be able to come in like this and, play well. It helps that, I guess, agenda or whatever. Like, I want Rob to be good. I need to see it first, and
he's also they are a very similar player, but I don't know what size Bones is, but he's probably 6'3", 6'4". Like, he does have that inherent kind of
6'2",
6'2". Yeah, maybe it's just because he's standing next to Rob that he looks taller. But like, he does have that a little bit more size, a little bit more length. Where that size, he's not a great defender, but he does have kind of the size to feel a little bit.
He knows how to use it better. Like, he just it's because he's 25 and Rob's 21. Like,
that's what I keep going back to. Is if you want Rob, if you believe in Rob, then you have to keep playing Rob at least 10, 12 minutes a night to see what you've got. If you don't believe in Rob, then that's a different conversation entirely.
Yeah, the believe in Rob, I really do wonder like how much Finch does. Like, I think Rob has the politics aspect of it, where he was drafted ninth, either way, top, very early in the first round a year ago. He's got that side. Tim Connolly definitely wants him on the floor, but I mean, I really am intrigued to see the leash he gets from Finch, because last season it was extremely low. This season it's championship aspirations from everything we're hearing, and I'm super intrigued by that. But game one preseason, I'm honestly right about where I was with Rob. It's just that Bones has gone higher in what I expected.
Yeah, and that's the thing about preseason, is that, if Rob has 22 points in the next game, then our mentality will shift again. And if Bones, like I said, shoots 0 of 6 and has 4 turnovers, then it'll go the other way. And if this continues, then if we get 4 or 5 games of Bones just clearly outplaying Rob, then we have to kind of shift our mindset on that again. So I think I'm a hold at the moment. I'm kind of just, I guess, where I was, where I think that Rob's probably should still be ahead of him. But that delta between the two has probably got a little bit closer after this game. And, like I said, at the end of the day, I still think that it's going to be more Dante, Mike, and Julius that kind of split all those point guard duties. And I don't expect that Rob will get 15 minutes in opening night, even if he had 18 points and 8 assists tonight. So
they could both be DNPs, man. Like they could,
yeah. And Jaylen Clark was really good tonight. Like he's the type of player who has 2 points and 2 rebounds, and you feel his impact as a defender and as a cutter and as kind of all the things that he's known for. So that's what Finch is going to have to work out as this preseason goes on, because there is that 9.5 role in the rotation that we still don't know what way he's going to lean.
Yeah, one of the reasons I said they could both be DNPs is largely Jaylen Clark. Like what we saw from him tonight. Again, offensively, not much, but they, preseason. Defensively, he was absolutely on, and, it was all over Twitter too. Everyone's calling him the best defender on the dang team right now, man. He looked great. He did. So just on Jaylen Clark, I mean, his stock went up. Like all offseason, we were talking about his defense, and he came out and was even better than I expected him to be. So
yeah, and that's, I mean, it's always been, for me, it's always been the tale of 3 different players. That Rob might have the highest ceiling if he was able to put it all together, but he's got the lowest floor, and we've seen him kind of oscillate between those 2 highs and lows. Jaylen Clark is very much the middle ground, where he's always just who he is, and that player is impactful. And in the right matchup, it can be really impactful. In the wrong matchup, it can be a little bit less impactful, but it's always going to be impactful. And then you have Terrance Shannon Jr., who's just kind of in between. You feel like his ceiling's pretty high. There's no real low floor, but like he's more of a guy who needs the ball in his hands more often. Like he is someone you need to incorporate into your system and sometimes even build a bit of the system around. So, and he was good again. And one thing that has stood out to me, I guess, especially in this game, is that you feel Rob's numbers. I feel like he has 7 points on 3 of 10 and 9 assists, and that makes sense. You're like, he wasn't very good storing the ball. He had 3 turnovers, but he was pretty good moving the rock. TJ Shannon was shot 2 of 9, and it felt like he was one of the better players on the floor when he was out there.
8 free throws.
So he's just a force, and clearly something this team needs. Like he's just cemented into that 8th spot, I think, because he just feels, when he's on the floor, it feels a little bit different, and different is good.
I mean, if he could shoot, what did he shoot from 3 last year? I forget, but if he can shoot 38% from 3 off the catch and shoot, I mean, he'd be an elite player, because right now off the catch, he's the best driver I've ever seen driving to the rim. So if he can also develop the catch and shoot 3 to keep him a little bit off balance, man, and he's got some of that, but right now, he needs to make open shots. Like there was one in the first half where it was a really good possession and it swung to the corner and he was wide open and he missed it. And that's the shot that you really do need to make in the NBA, because defenses will start planning themselves around that if you can't make open threes. So I think, like you said, he needs to be a good catch and shoot guy. I don't expect that he's going to be shooting pull-up threes or, shooting threes off the bounce in pick and roll, but he does need to make open threes. We didn't see that tonight, but we did see it in summer league. So, I think if he finishes the season shooting like 36% from 3 on what you'd think would be mostly pretty open shots, then you can get all of the value of his other things that he does without worrying about the shot. Yeah, and a lot of this so far has been me excitedly rambling because we have basketball back, but I'll throw it to you for a little bit more structure, I suppose. What was a big takeaway you had just from this game we can build off here?
Yeah, so we went through the young guys mostly there. I think let's keep going with the young guys, then we'll go through maybe some other stuff. There's not that much to talk about in a preseason game like this, where the starters, the veterans play 12 minutes each.
Got bald Rudy.
He's bald. It's very bald, like just like real shiny dome, which I liked. And he was making left-handed hook shots.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's like an anti-Samson kind of thing here. But yeah, I think the both backup bigs, young bigs, were really good. Berenjay, 6 of 8, 14 points, 4 boards. Got monstered by Valanciunas a couple of times. You could see him licking his lips when he got Berenjay in the post, which I think is, normal. Like he's a big, skinny, young kid, and Valanciunas has got to be pushing 280 of like absolute man strength. So, but when he wasn't in post-up defense, I think he was really good everywhere else. Really good as a help defender, really great in pick and roll defense, kind of playing between the ball handler and the roll man. Great offensively for obviously what he does, which is catch lobs, run the floor, work off the pick and roll. He doesn't shoot shots that he shouldn't shoot. If he gets an offensive rebound and it's not there, he'll kick it back out. If he takes the ball on the pick and roll and the shot isn't there, he'll kick it back out. Like, definitely things that we get frustrated with Gobert for not doing. And yeah, he runs the floor. He's just so quick running the floor. There was one possession where I think Rob might have got him in transition with like a bounce pass, a full court bounce pass, which was nice. And like, he's beaten everybody up the floor for a dunk. So that's exciting to see for that kind of young, fast brand that they want to play. He fouled too much, Berenger, but I expect that going forward. But yeah, a nice, semi-official NBA debut for him. And then Zakarsky as well was the biggest human I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, he made Jokic look small, which is not easy. And he was really good. His touch was really nice. He caught the ball in traffic, offensive rebounded. Again, really nice touch on his passes. Really good defensively, like just being a big, huge, massive human being in the middle of the lane. His free throw stroke looks good. I know he kind of shoots threes, in some of his, tape from before the NBA. So, yeah, I think both of those guys, I don't know. I mean, Berenger definitely more than Zakarsky, but they both look like kind of getting close to NBA ready backup bigs.
Yeah. Zakarsky very raw. I don't expect to see really any of him this year. Berenger, I almost am tempted to say the same, but he's one injury away from, playing solid minutes. And there's not many guys that are as big and strong in the post as Valanciunas, so that shouldn't be, a consistent problem. And they just won't play him in those matchups, obviously. But yeah. I was impressed with his speed while also maintaining like solid enough poise for someone in their first game here, getting pretty heavily featured minutes. So yeah, I mean, those two young guys just kind of slid right in, and all preseason too. Anthony Edwards has been hyping these guys up. Very impressed with both of them, and it was cool to see them both come out and not have the moment be too big against preseason game one, but it's still their first NBA action ever. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of the young guys really overall.
Yeah,
maybe not Rob, but everyone else.
Yeah, I think that if you get like maybe 5 of 6 check marks next to the young guys' names. I think Rob wasn't like terrible, but obviously didn't shine.
The box score doesn't help as much.
Yeah, and then obviously as the starter and probably the most hyped up kind of rookie or young guy there, you wanted a bit more from him. But I think overall you beat a team that, I mean, Denver played their starters for a long time. Then they played their like genuine second unit for a long time. And then later on got to their third stringers. So to see Minnesota's third stringers and second stringers kind of not just keep up with them, but just like they were clearly the better team for the whole game. So, and that's where I think the continuity comes in. That was kind of the last point I wanted to hit on was I think, the result of a preseason game obviously doesn't matter at all. But the fact that Minnesota looked more ready, fresher, sharper, more in tune with each other than this Denver team right off the bat, while missing their best 2 players, or at least, their best 2 of their best 3 players, their starting point guard. Like this felt like a team
the 3 guys that are going to really run the floor, or run the team.
Yeah. Well, their 2 highest usage scorers, definitely, including like their superstar player. They clearly look better than Denver from the first minute. And that's not really a knock on Denver. It's more of just Minnesota looked like a team that's ready to go. And
that's good coaching.
Yeah, and that's what this continuity piece is supposed to be. Is that they're supposed to be ready. Finch said it himself. Like if you're not using this continuity to stack wins at the start of the season, then it doesn't really matter. So I think this is obviously not a real win, but it was right away. It was obvious that this team's ready to go. I think, especially the main rotation pieces. So that is a definite plus. I thought Nas was just awesome in that first quarter. Jaden was awesome. All of them. Rudy was awesome. DiVincenzo looked really comfortable on and off the ball, especially off the ball, which we like to see. But he also had 6 assists in 12 minutes. So, like this is a team that I think feels ready to go.
Yeah, and I think there is something to say just about, like, again, it is preseason, but there's something to say about a team coming out and playing hard in preseason from top down. And, like you mentioned, they're missing 3 of their key players, but it's 3 guys that they've got their roles beyond cemented already, so it's fine. There's just everyone coming out playing hard. Jaylen, Nas, Rudy. I mean, Rudy, hook shot. What was that? Hey, is that a thing?
And he had a little Euro step left-hand lay as well.
We saw in the offseason, man, his like Instagram story and stuff. It'd be like him in the lab working on shooting.
Yeah.
What if, man? Year 33 offensive leap. Yeah. Is it?
So,
I mean, come on.
I mean, if he can just,
a little
hold the ball and make a layup, I think we'll all be pretty happy. But that's kind of what I mean, is that they look sharp. And at this point of the preseason, I don't think you expect any team to look sharp. I don't think Denver looked sharp. And they're obviously going to be a really good team this season. So it was nice to see that they just felt like a team that knew what they wanted to do, knew what they wanted to get to. They're making their threes, which I always feel like in preseason, you expect a team to really struggle to shoot, not really, get into their stuff. Like, they know how to play basketball, but the shots are usually a little bit short. The legs aren't there yet. They run out of steam later in games. But I think in that first quarter they were red hot, and everyone kind of looked like they knew what they were doing. I thought their pick and roll offense, I might do a video on that a bit later. Actually, I thought their pick and roll offense with all 3 units was really good. Really a lot of focus on getting the ball to the roll man, including Rudy, which was good. And a lot of focus on kind of, moving bodies around that to make those possessions easier rather than just running straight up spread pick and roll. So that helped Rudy early on. It definitely helped Baron J. I think it helped Rob get some playmaking into his game. Dante was good in that area as well. I mean, I saw nothing from Jaden McDaniels tonight to dampen my spirits because I'm on top of the bandwagon with my pants off at the moment, kind of waving them around my head. But yeah, so I mean, Jaden had a bit of ball handling as well, which I think is obvious when Ant and Julius aren't there. But I mean, there was one possession early where he kind of ran pick and roll, stepped into a pull-up 3, which was like, all right, that's not something we see Jaden do very often. So
in our what we want to see from preseason, that was at the top. Just give Jaden the ball and let's see what happens. So
I mean, I think I'll probably at some point beat the drum for Julius Randle is a better player than Nas Reed. I think we know that, and definitely a better scorer. But it does feel nice when Nas is with the starters and he's like a legitimate stretch 4. Like, that's just something that I think the numbers all bared that out last season, that the starting unit was always good when it had the extra shooter out there. I don't think this is really a Julius thing. I think it's more of a Nas helping thing than a Julius hurting. But yeah, it's just I tweeted earlier in the game, I just what happens if they just really try and weaponize Nas as a shooter? I feel like that is a little wrinkle that we haven't really spoke about. That what if Nas shot 8 threes a game or 9 threes a game off the bench instead of the 5 or 6 that he shot last season? Because
is this the cat conversation again, or is this?
But I don't think Nas is scared to shoot them like Cat was. I think
they were probably telling Cat to shoot 8 or 9. That you just wouldn't.
I just don't think they can get. I mean, it's more of, I think, a fantasy from me than a reality that a bench player is going to shoot a bench big.
I was going to say Dante might pull it off, but bench big.
9 threes a game. But I don't know. I think Nas every year kind of looks like maybe not a more accurate shooter. Like, I know his 3-point percentage dropped a little last season, but it looks like he's just got a little more in the bag. Like, he had a little, pump fake sidestep 3 in this game. He came off a screen for his first 3. He's a great shooter, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more Jaden. I'd like to see more Rudy doing, normal offensive things. So we kind of hit on all of we got all the hits tonight.
Yeah, Nas debuted a lot of the sidestep or the step back stuff last year, and every time he did, I'd kind of be like, this looks a little funky, but the more he does, the more it looks settled in. So
that shit gets me really excited, because I'm like, well, that's that's a real X factor thing where it's like, if your 4-man is like shooting step back 3s or coming off double pin downs for 3s, that's an area that it's an advantage over other teams who don't have a player who can do that.
Yeah, certainly. Other than that, I guess anything we missed. TJ Shannon, we talked about him. He was great. I mean, he shot 2 for 9, but he looked good.
Yeah, he did look good, and I thought he was defensively. He was good too, which they've really been beating that drum of TJ needs to be and can be a good defender this season. And I thought yeah, he was pretty good. I thought their defense in general was good.
Yeah.
It was really fun watching the first half where both teams shot like 30 free throws each. Just I love personally watching referees blow the whistles. Just one of my favorite things.
You've always been saying that. Yeah, you're always
like I mean, it's we got to watch them get into form as well. So
that's true.
Yeah. So apart from that,
God.
I did at one
Ingles
stage
played 16 minutes. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
I was just going to say at one stage I thought we were going to be doing this. It was going to be like 4 a.m. for you because the game was going so slow.
No, it was great. Everyone got minutes too. We got to see everyone we wanted to see. Zion Poulin. Is that a real guy? Did I make that name up?
Enrique Freeman, 9 points in 8 minutes. Looked good.
Dude, what was with Denver late in the game? The shot clock would be at 0, and they were just bombing these threes.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little comeback.
Jaylen Pickett hit some crazy shots in that game.
Yeah. Otherwise, got any other big takes for me? I guess
not
preseason
really.
Game 1. This is really just all about that game.
Yeah, Jamal Murray still looks terrified whenever Jaden McDaniel stands in front of him. That's just a thing that's not going to go away. Nikola Jokic still doesn't defend. Like I've said it before.
By Rudy, play one.
I've said it before. Jokic against the Timberwolves is the worst defender I've ever seen. It's the reason why Minnesota win against Denver every single time. So that's
not very... I gotta admit, I guess I don't watch a ton of other Nuggets games. Is he just... What does he defend like in other games, man? Because I think
he's a smart defender in terms of obviously he's like got the biggest basketball brain of all time, maybe. So like I think he's much smart. I just think he's smart stand out more against other teams whenever I watch. Like I always think, Jokic is still slow and still can't jump, but he like does things that impact defensively. But I don't know, for some reason, every time like the Wolves are not scared of Jokic in any Dante was going at him off the dribble, like it was like if Jokic is in front of you, go get a layup. That's pretty much been top of their scouting report against Denver for like 2 years. So, and that's without Ant, who literally just looks at Jokic like he's like he's Popeyes,
like he's Popeyes. Yeah. Good stuff. Good reference. I mean. Yeah, got to crap on Jokic a little bit. Good stuff, but
I do love.
He's the best player in the world.
Yeah, he's the best player. Might be the best player I've ever seen. But yeah, he doesn't play defense. Anyway, it's the Bones era now. Where the Bones era has started. 18 points. Get to see him in a few nights. Like you said, the point guard position is probably the talking point, the watch for the next few weeks. But yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm holding all stocks at the moment. I'm trying not to let any of my stocks get too high or too low.
Agreed. Yeah, and except for my Bones one, actually, I pushed that one through the roof. But aside from that,
my Jaden, stocks they're just like a steady rise.
But besides those, anyways, thanks for listening. If you want to check out Jake's channel where he's going to make a video on this game, Howls and Growls, links always in the description. Check that out. Yeah, it's all from me. We'll be back next week, and hopefully a couple episodes per week coming your way, maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks, everyone. See you next time.